Hello and welcome back. Back to another exciting, this time it's an evening edition of Video Ditch. It's me, Sam, as always, joined by Nick.
Have we ever not recorded in the evening?
I think there may have been weekends where we do I'd say late afternoon or early evening.
I guess, I don't know.
At the earliest. But
anyway, by this time, I'm sure you've all seen our wonderful ad drawn by Trees.
And we got that cool ad right there.
Anyways, we got a beautiful ad made by Trees for our new sponsor. Did we mentioned it last time, didn't we?
We did, yes. At the end of the last episode.
Job LOC cookbooks. Use a coupon code, which I guess is just a permanent thing, unless it's gone by now, in which case it wasn't. But if it is, you can still use the...
It's until the amount of money they've allotted for us is spent.
Until they've decided we can't lose anymore on these guys just playing around, throwing our name around willy-nilly.
Oh, wait. Yeah, check that out. If you missed it, check out their stuff. You want to learn how to cook a crazy-ass pickle monstrosity from Toe Jam and Earl.
Yeah, you want some real nasty stuff, or even some real good stuff. Use coupon code CONSUMEPRODUCT at the Job LLC store for any cookbook. $5 off.
$5 off.
And, it's not like a Factor or a fucking underwear or wallet, I assume, promotion, because it will not charge you every month when you forget. And you'll be like, where'd all my money go? Why am I on the streets? Am I Nanba from Yakuza 7? A little bit of context for those who don't know. Nanba in Yakuza 7 is a homeless guy who joins your party. Yeah. Famously homeless. You'd say it's a defining characteristic.
Mm-hmm. Even in the sequel, when he
he's employed and has a home, he's still the homeless guy.
He doesn't have to live like that. He still identifies as a homeless. Today, we're just talking what we've been playing. Very casual, laid back type of episode. Nothing earth shattering in the game sphere that really brought to our attention. Although the first quarter of 2024 is coming to an end with this month. And with it, I think my most anticipated of this quarter, Dragon's Dogma 2. Very excited about that. But kind of looking back on these past 3 months, Nick.
A lot of good stuff.
Yeah, really kind of spoiled for riches here. What has been the highlight for you?
Well, I've exclusively been playing Tekken 8 and Yakuza 8, so...
The 8s are strong.
As you know, I pretty much have to force myself to play any other game to tear myself away from the objects of my desire, so... Even if those were the only games that came out this year, I think I'd be good just going through all the stuff I've forgotten over the last couple of years and playing that instead.
Mm-hmm. Truly. But
yeah. I guess they're gonna keep releasing stuff. Oh, and of course... Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. Instant classic.
Instant classic.
Everyone's loving it.
Yeah, I was grinding that battle pass day one for those sweet, sweet costumes.
I want to see King Shark do Gangnam Style.
Exactly. And you know what? When I shot Batman in the head, I laughed and I liked it. I said,
when King Shark killed him and he said, "I'm doing this because you're gay, Kevin Conroy." I was like, what the fuck?
How could they do this to him?
Wow, they really are evil.
Oh my god. But in all seriousness, yes, the first 3 months, even with just those 2 games, Tekken 8 and Like a Dragon 8, it's so many hours that one could spend, that we have spent. I as well spent lots of time with both of those games. Not much to update, from the last
we talk about it pretty much constantly. For those who don't know, Tekken 8 is the 8th game in the Tekken series, a 3-dimensional fighting game where you can sidestep, crouch, and backdash.
Yes. It's truly, truly excellent. And
the latest episode in the Mishima family feud, all coming to a head in this exciting climax.
Whoa. We have a product code from Bandai Namco, right?
Yeah, it says it's a cease and desist, actually.
Commit patricide.
Yeah.
And you get a discount on the game.
For $5 off a Sanwa button for your arcade stick.
But speaking of other good things coming out of this new year, this quarter of this year, is palette swap, a new games
from the diarrhea toilet slop mess that was the end of. I guess it's still alive, but from the last couple of months of Hard Drive. For those who don't know, Hard Drive was a comedy gaming news site, like a spin-off of the Hard Times, which is a comedy news regular site, which is like The Onion, if you ever read that. For those who don't know, The Onion is a parody news site where they tell news that didn't happen. It's what some people call very funny.
Would you consider it very funny?
The Onion? Fuck fan? No. No, not at all. Yeah, so Hard Drive had like this big blow up where pretty much all their classic team of writers, editors, all the people they were riding high on and did a lot of work for them were pretty unceremoniously released from service after working essentially for free for quite a long time. And after a bit of a blow up where some disgruntled employees, former employees, aired their grievances, a bunch of them are now coming together to make Palette Swap, which was one half funny comedy, haha, the Different Colors brand, or what would you call that, mark? Label.
Different Colors?
Kind of, yeah, like how DC has Vertigo
and
all that.
Yeah.
Yes, Different Colors.
Pieces, yes.
And True Colors, which is actual gaming news and opinions.
Yes.
And it's big guy behind it is a close personal friend of the show, Kevin Potus, who we've had multiple times, but never been able to properly show due to the video being ruined every time.
Every time, yeah.
Check it out.
Very funny. But yeah, we'll link the Patreon in the description of this on whatever, and highly recommend checking it out because we love to see it, and we're excited to see what's coming next.
If you don't laugh, don't tell me.
Exactly. I'll be very disappointed.
Yeah.
Speaking of other disappointing things, have you seen any of that canceled Batman Beyond concept art?
Nope. I remember the Batman Beyond sequel comic came out like a while ago, and people were pretty pissed off about it. Is it based on that?
I don't believe so. Let's see. I have the article right here. The movie was slowly making its way up the chain, but it did not get up to, the people that needed to see it to greenlight it.
I mean, it's WB, right? Like WB, Discovery, HBO, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
it's
Warner Brothers, yeah.
I feel like it's kind of a rule of thumb. If it's like, oh, there was an interesting idea in the studio that got either completely made and then shelved permanently or just never made it. I think that's just kind of like what you can expect. I don't think anyone will ever expect that studio to ever release anything of any real interest ever again. It's just going to be like my 6,000-pound life garbage forever because it's very cheap to make and it guarantees people will gawk at it and give them money.
Wow. An inflammatory take, but understandable. Were you ever a Batman Beyond fan?
I'd never watched it.
You never watched it? Really?
Never.
Oh.
I didn't even watch Batman the Animated Series.
Wow. I figure you'd be more of a Terry McGinnis fan over...
It's more into Spider-Man and Superman.
Oh, and you do like Superman, that's right. We have gone over
Not in a
this.
Seinfeld way, for reasons that make sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, if I was him, I would be really cool.
You'd be a really cool guy.
I had to watch myself for a second there. I would be normal and responsible.
I wouldn't commit atrocities.
My Bizarro would also be fucked up and weird and not just a normal guy.
That'd be very funny, a Superman movie where he meets his fucked
like
up alter ego, and it's like, wait a second, why is he so good?
His Bizarro's like handsome and like, you can't be doing this, Superman.
Exactly. I like that. But we'll never get it. Because the coward executives will always cancel anything that has the slightest iota of creative potential.
These guys, these old bastards, these bald-headed old bastards, shitting in their golden toilets, wiping their ass with your spec scripts, laughing all the way to the bank.
Chomping on their cigars, a wheelbarrow full of bags of money. Yeah. Classic stuff. Well, I only brought it up because the leaked concept art, or not even leaked, just the released concept art from one of the artists that worked on it, also had done work on the Spider-Verse films, and it seemed to be going in that direction with just the dramatic kind of shapes and colors. Yeah. Could have been cool. As a fan.
Like an actual film or like an animated film?
I think it's going to be an animated film.
That would have been good, I think. The right way to go.
Yeah,
Sick of all the live action stuff. Sick
point,
of things being real. We need more fake things. Sometimes the fake is more real than the real.
It could be more fulfilling, certainly. More affecting.
It's a very Fate Stay Night kind of thought process, but maybe they were onto something.
With the fake being better?
Yeah, counterfeit's better than the reality.
I mean, there's always going to be that higher degree of control when crafting something like that.
Yeah.
That could make it better. All right. I guess with that, shall we move into the first games of the night?
Yeah, this good banter. I think that we've fulfilled the itinerary there.
The intro.
People are always clamoring. They're saying, "Why don't you guys talk more in the beginning about random bullshit? Why don't you guys John about modern events going on? Where's the talk about P Diddy and 50 Cent? We're working on it. Okay?
We're working on it. Yeah.
Well, maybe we can incorporate Blood in the Sands in some way.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
that'd be a fun one. Is it? I don't know if it's available on Steam. But...
I hope it's not available anywhere. It seemed unplayable.
No way. I heard Blood on the Sand was one of the best Gears of War clones on that console.
Is it co-op?
Console generation? Yeah.
It might be worth playing.
Exactly. You got a 2-player. It'll be better than Resident Evil 5, I can guarantee.
Resident Evil 5 was fucking awful. I think anyone who's like, I love Resident Evil 5, they're brainwashed. It's like evil nostalgia.
Well, I was going to say the first co-op Resident Evil, but that's not true. Because Outbreak exists. And I want those to come back, as mentioned before. But, Blood on the Sand, I bet it could be a good time. But we're not talking about P. Diddy or 50 Cent.
Yeah, look it up on your own, freak. Do your own research.
Or, the other issues plaguing the games industry this week, like the mass layoffs at Sony and Microsoft, because I'm not qualified to tell you about that. I just know it's horrible, and it sucks, and it's indicative of where the industry is headed.
Yes, Toys for Bob, the Crash developer, it went from being, like a second-party developer to indie in one day.
Mm. I know the Sony London studio closed down as well.
What do they even make?
They made The Getaway, which I love.
I don't even know what that is.
It's like if GTA was directed by Guy Ritchie, but not when he was like in his big bombastic era. This is like a gritty crime Guy Ritchie.
Guy Ritchie's the guy who directed Slumdog Millionaire, right?
I don't know if he did Slumdog Millionaire, but he did fucking Snatch with Brad Pitt and Jason Statham, and he did The Gentleman.
I've not seen that
recently. He did that King Arthur movie. Probably didn't.
Don't know what that is.
Yeah. Stylish British filmmaker. I appreciate his stuff. Yeah.
More of a cerebral guy. More of a David Lynch kind of guy.
Yes. Of course.
Not a fan of those British filmmakers.
I like it all.
That Kubrick guy, he always struck me odd. Always staring at the camera.
Shit, how did we even get here? What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, the mass layoffs. Yeah, see, this is why we're not talking about it. Because we can't. Because we'll just move on to other shit.
That's bad that happens.
It is.
It'd be good if AAA gaming didn't take 10 years to develop a game. It'd be good if it was possible to make a profit without grinding people into paste.
Exactly.
And I think that will only be possible with a massive, unbelievable, catastrophic explosion within every AAA studio's main office.
I'm kind of feeling
metaphorically, not literally, of course. Aside Nintendo, they seem to be pretty on the ball. They're fine.
I feel like Tyler Durden, kind of.
If there's a big happy face made out of fires within the Santa Monica Studios office.
I can't wait for the technological Stone Age to happen again, for game developers to live in villages.
We're going to have to build it up from TI-98 calculators.
Exactly. It'll be Doom clones all over again, but I mean, if the games industry, we were kind of talking about this beforehand, and if it crashes, again for a second time, it'd be very, very interesting to be living through that. And maybe it just means that, with how unsustainable AAA gaming development is proving to be, that, it just won't be the norm. And hopefully, more creativity could thrive when people are working within smaller constraints. But, again, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the games we've been playing, such as Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Yeah, can't get my hands on it. Only you for now.
And I've been playing for I spent about maybe like 8-10 hours this weekend playing it. And I had been playing the demo earlier. Last episode I had not finished it. Before the game came out later that week, I finished playing the demo because there was a new segment of it. It was interesting.
Yeah, you said they took out the scene where Sephiroth laughs at Cloud, does a backflip, and throws materia at him.
Yeah, he's still he does the laughing thing, but he doesn't like fly out of there.
That's dumb as fuck.
Yeah, it is a little unfortunate, and yeah, I'd say I'm enjoying it so far. It's it's a massive fucking game. Where do I even begin? It's 150 something gigs. I think it's 145 gigs.
Yeah, you can actually go outside in this one, right?
Just a massive fucking install. Yeah, you can. You
got
outside.
A world map.
Mm-hmm. So there's an opening sequence before the Nibelheim flashback, and that's how the game kind of starts off properly with Cloud, and you do that segment again. And if you played the demo, it gives the option to skip it if you want, which I didn't because I wanted to see if there would be anything different, and there was not.
Exactly the same.
I was like, okay, I could have saved myself an hour or so. There was actually less.
Demo?
This time, yeah, than the demo. Because when you go inside Tifa's house and you go into her room like a creep, in the demo there was piano sheet music for you to get and play along with. And then in the full release, you go to a room and you get to the piano and there's nothing. You can just kind of plunk around. Which was strange. They still complimented me. They're like, "Wow, Cloud, you're really good at this." It's okay, thank you. And now I'm wondering, I wonder if I looked in her drawers, if I would find the sheet music. But they call you out if you do that.
Oh,
Cloud,
you're a fucking, come on.
You're a fucking
you gotta
creep, Cloud.
It's not because you're a shiko pervert. It's because you want 100% completion, Mm-hmm. And if there's an item, a key item, you could only get from that. It would be stupid not to do it.
Yeah, I want that minigame completion. But yeah, and then after that, after the calm kind of intro, you get let out into the city, which is very cool to see. Nibelheim in the beginning kind of expanded on and then rendered with greater fidelity, but still maintaining the kind of same structural or kind of layout of the village that's been
there's a playground, there's a mansion,
years.
There's a reactor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's the tower and the plaza, and everything. And the way the flashback plays out is very cool, if you're privy to all the weird,
right, the
shit that's going on.
Slight inaccuracies.
Yeah, the falsified the memories of things. The game also addresses it so quick. I don't remember that in the original.
It does in the original.
Where Tifa's
if you do
Cloud,
something weird,
you weren't even there.
Yeah, if you do something weird, they will call Cloud out wait, how did that even happen?
Nice. Yeah, it's been a very long time since I played the original, and it's been a pretty long time since I played through the first part of the remake. But it's nice if you have save data from the remake, you get a summon, and if you have save data from Yuffie's thing, you get another summon on top of that.
I'm assuming you just get like dropped down to level 1 again.
I think everyone's like level like 15, I think.
Yeah.
And you have a basic set of materia for everyone, but
all the stuff, basically anything that you collect in the first game is gone.
yeah, there was no option to import like all those weapons or anything, which would have been really cool. And correct me if I'm wrong, right? Because this is something that's bothering me in the beginning of the game. But the Buster Sword, right? It's the Buster Sword, right? It's like, it's one, right? There's only one. Yeah, the game was pissing me off with like some of the dialogue where these soldiers are coming after him. Like, the suspect he's wielding a Buster Sword. It's like, a Buster Sword? Like, how do people know what a Buster Sword is? You motherfuckers.
I think that with Crisis Core, I'm not 100% certain, but I think that in Crisis Core, it's so that Buster Swords are like
a class of
a soldier first class weapon. But then in Crisis Core also, you only ever see
Angeal.
Zack use it and no one else.
Yeah, he gets it from Angeal, and he's like, don't dirty this shit. This blade is worth more than
after
your
Angeal
life.
turns into a disgusting like pig monster angel freak.
Yeah. Gives him the scar on his cheek. Hell yeah, dude. The intro is pretty linear, right? You get the in-world card game immediately, like after the flashback. And
card game. What do they have?
You're in there. I think it's like
Triple Triad.
Yeah, it's like Triple Triad from 8, right?
Yeah.
They call it.
They tried to.
They call it Queen's
something.
Blood or something in this one.
In 9, they had Tetramaster, and that shit was nonsense.
Mm-hmm. So, in all fairness, I did not engage with the card game. I don't want to give a fuck about this thing.
I would probably spend 10 hours on that.
Yeah. Thankfully, in Calm, it's like there's only like 3 or 4 people to engage with initially. I'm still not gonna bother. But yeah. After that kind of linear tutorial, there's a little bit of cutscenes and such, and then you're let out into the open world, and it's been cool, right? The new plot lines, it's very interesting. Like it kind of immediately like disrupts your foundation, like any sort of expectation that you have, right? I don't know if you care about spoilers for like the beginning.
I do. Don't tell me anything.
Okay.
Because I already know it's different. I mean, you remember how the ending of the first game, instead of just leaving Midgar, is Sephiroth shows up and calls Meteor, the big spell from the end of the game?
Yes.
So it's already pretty radically different, so I like to see it on my own, just how much they're going to change it.
Perfect.
Because I've already come to grips with the fact that it's a sequel, it's not actually a remake.
Yes, we've gone over this before, yeah. Okay, perfect. So I won't divulge into anything specific. I'll just kind of tell you about the general sort of vibes.
You can go to, Costa del Sol, and you can see Tifa and Aerith in a bikini. Go yo gazonga. Yeah. Awooga.
I mean, so immediate notes. Aside from like, whoa, like this is new and interesting, and I'm curious. Like, there's that obvious curiosity about where the differences are going.
What color swimsuit will they wear? What will the cut be? Is it a 2-piece? Is it a 1-piece? Is Yuffie wearing one? Yes, we know the questions.
It's just, and I remember this from the first remake. It plays up a lot of the interpersonal interactions a lot more. Like, I remember every interaction with Jessie in the first part of the remake. I was like, wow, this is charged. They're like trying to make the player feel something.
Yeah, feel a little romance burgeoning.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Do you want to cheat on Tifa?
They're trying to tug at you constantly. And I feel like this one like dives like full hog into this. Like,
do you want to date Barrett?
Almost immediately. Right? Basically. There's a whole bond and relationship mechanic now.
Oh, like straight up Yakuza 8.
Yeah, and it's cool, right? different dialogue responses will affect like the rate at which your bond with
Right.
them
Like,
grows.
what do you think about this stress cloud? And it's like, looks
look
great,
like a
or
fucking
you're a
idiot.
hog, I hate you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of thing. And then it's also affected by utilizing like team skills and combat. So it's very satisfying there. The party, your initial party, it's Barrett, Tifa, Aerith, and Red 13 and Cloud. So you can
Yuffie
only
doesn't show up?
not initially. I think she shows up in Junon in this one, but I haven't gotten there yet. I'm still outside of Calm, kind of just exploring that overworld. But you can only have three people on the map, 3 people on the field at a time, like actively fighting, and then the other 2 will like still be present, which is really interesting and cool, I think. But they're not really like actually doing damage.
They're like support characters.
Yeah, like Barrett's like shooting
It's
off
like-
in the distance, but it's like I don't think you're actually doing anything.
Did you see? You played through the first one, right? You remember how Red 13 in the first one was a party member, but he wasn't. Like you couldn't control him.
You couldn't play him.
Is it like that?
I think so. Red
Okay,
13
is he
is
still
fully playable.
Okay, I was gonna say if he's still just
which is
not
rad.
playable,
Yeah, right.
it'd be annoying.
Bummer. I heard that Vincent isn't playable in this one. Like he's a party member, but he's not. You can't directly control him. But I've not confirmed.
I hope not.
Yeah, right. I can't wait to play as Matt Mercer Vincent.
I'm not a fan of that. I think I'll go for the Japanese.
I did so kind of tangent. I played through the demo in Japanese. Like I'd started in English and then I switched to Japanese because I was like, if I'm doing this, might as well get something different out of it because I'll probably stick with English throughout the whole thing. It's fine, you know. I think the biggest issue I have with the English dub is Zach's voice. I think I've well established that I'm
Zach Fair.
groaning whenever I hear that man speak. Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of bums me out. Like they should have just hired someone else.
Or the original guy.
Or the original guy, you know, he's pretty good. But I'm sure I'll adjust. Yeah, with the focus on the interpersonal kind of dynamics in the party, and just kind of the overall writing style and vibe, it's so Tetsuya Nomura. And you'll understand what that means, right? It's a very like Kingdom Hearts sort of
In a fucked up and annoying way, or in like a auteur director cool way.
It's kind of a mix, right? I think it depends on how much you enjoy his stylings.
I mean, I think The World Ends With You is probably the best game Square Enix has ever come out with, but he only did the character designs for that.
Yeah.
And for the original version of 7, he was also just a character artist. They just kind of asked him for input sometimes. He didn't actually, write any of the story.
Yeah.
So,
and I think that's a
wondering.
strength of the original. I think the concise nature of the original will be seen as a strength, kind of as more of this saga of this retelling is unfolded. That was kind of my initial fear when I saw those trailers. It's like, holy shit, this is too much. This is too much. Like I love Final Fantasy 7,
13 or something,
but it's kind of going full Tetsuya Nomura in that vibe. And even some of the comic beats, the comic timing, the way they have Barrett acting was a little like, It made me go, which is not the response I want to have.
is he like slipping on a banana peel?
No. It's just the way he comments on something, and then the way that all the characters kind of snap and react to like, oh, it's Stern Barrett, kind of like, yes, sir.
Like he's pissed.
Yeah. It was very like Kingdom Hearts 3-esque.
Yeah.
It felt like the
fucking, worst one.
Yeah, Donald and Goofy and Sora just being like, whoa, and I didn't jive with it completely. I'm still holding out a lot of hope. I was very curious about how the open world was going to be adapted, like the overworld. Midgar is such a small part of that original game, and looking back, I remember seeing criticisms of that first part. People be like, "It's fluff," There's too much
Midgar?
fluff. Just the remake in general. Like, why stretch this 2-hour segment out into 40? And at first I was like, no. You're wrong. Like, let this man cook. Let the people enjoy spending all this time here. But now that I'm like out in it, I'm like, oh, I don't know, man. Some of this stuff feels like fluff. Like, as charming as exploring the overworld is, it has towers, right? Like open world
like,
towers. Like,
I
go
do
to
hate that.
this point and collect data for me, Cloud.
Go to the relay station, Cloud.
Yeah, right. Do you remember Chadley? That little cyborg boy from the
Oh,
remake?
yeah, the summons kid.
Yeah, I don't like him. And I don't like him in this one. And I feel like that kind of shit I don't enjoy in the remake, in the retelling.
The new characters?
Like the injection of shit like that. Yeah. Like, I'm fine with them fleshing out past characters and adding this stuff.
What was the rich part of Midgar like? What were they living like above the plates?
Mm-hmm. But then when you have characters like Chadley, who's like, I'm a little boy cyborg developed by Dr. Hojo.
Especially when it's like, here's a normal Shinra employee, and it's like a Japanese salaryman in a suit. It's like, here's Chadley, his direct superior.
It's not that sort of stuff is not my favorite. But
yeah, I mean, even in the original, like, President Shinra was like an ugly old man in a suit.
Yes.
And Heidegger and who's the other guy? They're all named after like philosophers or something.
Yeah, the military suit guy, and then
whatever. The other guy, the short, fat, bald, round guy who's not Heidegger. They were all like very corporate looking old men, and Scarlet was like a sadistic, I don't know, like middle-aged-ish woman, 40s maybe.
Yeah.
They all age appropriate, looked how they should for their positions in a JRPG.
Yeah.
None of them were chobits, I guess.
Yeah. It definitely it clashes for me personally, and it's not my favorite. From a design point of view, from like a moment to moment gameplay, as a Final Fantasy, the design of the world I appreciate more than like Final Fantasy 15 or 16, just because 15 it had open sections, but it felt very designed around going around in the car.
Right, like don't actually get out, don't look too close at these things.
It's not a world that's meant to be traversed on foot, really. Whereas this one is, and it's still open and it's large, but it's designed in a way that doesn't feel like too much. And then 16, I didn't end up finishing it. I don't think it's a bad game, right? But I think it's much more of like a gameplay first, story second Final Fantasy entry. And that might not be for everybody, but certainly interesting.
Yeah, we should just all go back to Stranger of Paradise, play the Chaos game with Limp Bizkit.
Truly. Fuck this shit.
Yeah.
Puts this thing on. But yeah, and so I'm still in that first region. It's been about 10 hours. I've explored. I got a chocobo. And I'm compelled to. It's fun. I'm enjoying it. But part of it, like did Final Fantasy VII need like crafting mechanics? Like now you can go out and pick herbs.
Is that happening
to make potions? Yeah, I mean it's given to you very quickly, so I think it's kind of just meant to be like something you'll do without thought over the hours of the game. You're just like, I'll pick up more herbs, whatever. But it does feel like fluff to me. This run around, compared to the first time when it was shiny and new and exciting to be exploring this world again. Now that the glasses aren't so rose tinted on the second go, You know, it's not that I'm not. Maybe it's exactly that. It is a little less exciting for me. I'm a little like, oh god, this feels like a lot.
I think the real test is going to see what happens when you get to the gold saucer. Mm-hmm. Like, did they end up adding anything to the like gambling center of the world? It's like where the games are. It's where the arena is. It's where the prizes are. It's got all the different segments. I think if they put the time into fleshing that out, that would be great. I think that'd be like a really smart thing to do, because that is something that could stand to gain from like, say, a Yakuza style amount of side content, because that's literally.
I think I won't be disappointed there. I think you won't be disappointed there either. Yeah. They were definitely showed that in the trailer, and it's like there's a lot of shit there, and I don't think this game will be lacking for like side content, right? If anything, I'm just worried that it won't. There'll be a lot, but maybe not all of it will feel meaningful in the long run. You know, like I ran into like a Mog home, which was very strange. Like it's like a mushroom house. Like you remember that arcade cabinet?
Yeah, the Mog one, Mog Stories or whatever.
So you run into like one of those things out in the
real life.
Yeah, and it's like very strange. You go in, and it's like low-key giving me Chow Garden vibes from Sonic Adventure, right? And then it asks you to do this stupid mini game where it's like, go wrangle them into this spot, and I was like, I don't know if this is really adding anything. Like, I guess this is cool, but it's not the most compelling way to use these mechanics. And it was all in service of unlocking a shop location. And they're like, there's 6 more of these out in the world, you know?
Like an accessory or something?
It's like special Mog shop, you know? I think they use a special currency or whatever. And
like the orphanage kids in the first game?
It's that type of thing, right? And it's like, and the more houses you clear, you know, the more stock you have in each of them, sort of thing.
Yeah, it's like you get a potion now. Now you can get a high potion. Now you can get fucking ether. Now you can get Ultima Weapon.
Yes, it is exactly that. And so that's the sort of those questions are buzzing around my head. It's like, how are they going to make this feel meaningful? You know, but like not too much. You know. Like, is it fine to skip over things like... I don't feel too bad about the card game. And just, I think because I'm playing Infinite Wealth right now, alongside
the differences?
It's definitely like... Yeah, the differences are exacerbated. And it's also, I think, a bit of, like, fatigue. I'm just like, oh, shit. JRPGs are massive.
But they're so different. In one, you're in Japan.
They are so different.
In the other, you're in, you know, whatever the world in Final Fantasy is called.
Does it have? I think it's just.
I think Earth. The one in 9 has a name. It's like Terra or Gaia or something.
That would make
sense.
That's
about it.
Yeah. I think 15 had a name as well, like the world.
Noctis's world. It's Noctis's world. We're all just living in it.
Oh shit! God, what a game. Yeah, I honestly though, like this one does evoke a lot of Final Fantasy 15 vibes for me, and I like 15, right? Obviously they're different because the structure of 15 was so much revolved around the day-to-day kind of structure of it. Like straight up, you're gonna camp out at the end of every night. Theoretically, that's what you're trying to do. Right, there's no dynamic day and night cycle so far in 7, but I do think I wouldn't mind that, and it would definitely bring me more into the just moment to moment adventure.
I think it's all just location based in the original. Like, oh, you go to Cosmo Canyon, always nighttime.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it'll probably just be tied to the story in this one. Who knows? Maybe when open world exploration is a thing, they'll be like, oh, you can rest until night, you know.
Yeah, maybe maybe when you get Sid, he'll be like, oh, by the way, I have
a bed.
Beds.
Yeah. Thank God.
Yeah, do the classic JRPG trope of waiting 80 hours to introduce like a major mechanic.
Exactly. Yeah, it's been cool so far. You know, I'm worried. I'm worried about about how I'll be feeling by the end of it. You know, questioning if it was all worth it, all the fancy new stuff. You know, will I have me like, God damn it, I don't care that Tifa has a grappling hook, sort of thing. Like, will I be feeling like that? Do you want me to tell you?
No.
Yeah, find out for yourself, right? I think the less you know, the better. And yeah, currently it's a PS5 exclusive, so you know it's not super accessible to.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to Steam Deck in like 6 months, I'll pick it up.
There you go.
I'll enter some PC gaming giveaways in the meantime. Maybe I'll get one of those.
Or
Why not?
They'll do some kind of wizardry like backwards compatible release on the PS4, but it's like 6 discs. You know?
Yeah, I'd be
like,
fine.
We're
with
bringing
that.
it back.
Sure.
Yeah, there you go.
I got the Pro, you know, can handle it.
Exactly. Yeah, does it justify? Actually, that's kind of a question we have later on from one of our listeners. So I won't.
Was it $80?
No, we'll get there. We'll kind of answer the question with the question. But right now, would I recommend it for anyone that has a PS5, anyone that's a fan of Final Fantasy or JRPGs? If I had to pick this over Infinite Wealth, I would pick Infinite Wealth, I think.
I mean, yeah, I'm the biggest Final Fantasy VII fan I know of, and I would also probably play Infinite Wealth over Final Fantasy VII right now.
Honestly, and that is coming from someone that is a fan, and Final Fantasy VII is like such an integral part of my like gaming DNA, you know? Like it was there at the start. You know, it's one of those early things that made my eyes widen and my brain go,
maybe play Final Fantasy VII again?
Yeah.
Yeah, the original one.
Exactly. Maybe actually finish that, you know? Spoiler alert, I never finished that as a kid.
I finished it twice, and I've replayed it like 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just get to I think I told you, I just get to the Northern Cape, and I'm like, well, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. It's fair. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I want to cover without spoiling too much. Aside from like, you know, the devs know exactly what they're doing. You know, trying to get those horny gamer boys.
Yes.
Up in a frenzy, man. They're trying to
go to
whirl
the
them up.
beach.
They're trying
check
to
out the beach.
like, look, Aerith's holding on to Cloud's arm. Doesn't that make you feel something?
Yeah. What if that was you?
What if that was you? Yeah, exactly.
What if you had these kind of muscles?
Look at that.
You could swing this big ass sword around.
Tifa just showed you her tits. She just showed Cloud her tits. What if that was you? Yeah, it's crazy.
The problem is that Cloud has a personality, unlike most gamers. Am I right?
Shit. Yeah. Yeah. If you don't got arms like that, you won't be getting the same results as him.
It's true. It's true. Sorry to say it, fellas, but if you aren't lifting weights, all women in the world think you're worthless. It's just a fact.
They're not gonna look at you.
They look right through you, like you're made out of glass. And you deserve to be looked at in that way for your weakness.
So really, yeah, put the controller down and pick up some dumbbells.
Exactly.
You heard it here. You heard it here first.
Stop going on Hentai Haven. Stop playing Beat Banger or whatever the fuck you're doing. And try banging out some reps.
There you go. So
try
you
pumping
too
some iron.
Could wield the Buster Sword. A Buster Sword.
Yes, one of the many Buster Swords. Is found in any pawn shop, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So yeah, closing thoughts on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. You know, I think the game said I'm like 11% through, like main story completion. The PS5 kind of tracks that. Yeah, which is crazy.
It seems like I haven't done anything.
But I also I'm curious, kind of to close it out. I'm curious if it'll do the cool thing, or what I would think would be cool, is if it kind of allows you to progress through the main story quickly if that's what you want to focus on. Kind of like Yakuza, right? Where like it'll get larger
yes.
if that's what you end up pursuing, right? But
How the main story can be done in like 6 hours. But if you go side
I'm
content,
assuming this
it's
is going to be like
120.
20, 40 at least, yeah. But exactly, it expands when you want it to, and if you don't want it to, parts of that game will stay slim, right? So, if it does that right, if it respects my time, very cool. But open world games kind of inherently they require a lot out of people.
They're anti-gamer, really. They trick you into thinking you like something that's bad.
Certainly, when they're
Yes.
bloated, it's not my favorite. As someone who really loves those kinds of games, or over the past decade, I'd say has struggled to stay in love with them, as the industry has beaten me every single time. It's like, oh,
Climb
you
your
like open
tower.
world games?
Get your vantage point.
Please, I want to like you.
Upload
Fuck
your data.
you. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we'll see. This game will keep me occupied for 3 weeks until Dragon's Dogma 2 comes out, and then we'll see how my love of open world JRPGs really stands.
I mean, they got a crazy claim. For those who don't know, the director of Dragon's Dogma 2 said there was no fast travel because he's actually made the game fun to travel in, which is something no open world game has ever done before.
Mm-hmm. I'll be shocked. And we'll see if they got the game to back it up then.
If it's the same size as the original Dragon's Dogma, the map, but they just like made everything more, it could be possible.
I think so. I think the first game struck a very good balance for being really mainly walkable. Like, you do unlock fast travel, and then Dark Arisen kind of, it gives you the infinite fucking thing, so it kind of
go straight to Bitter Black Isle level 1 and be like, why is this game so hard? This game sucks. I hate this.
I finally started exploring Bitter Black Isle, like a decade upon having this game. Finally, like, you know what? I guess I'm done exploring the mainland and should see what this DLC has to offer.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. It's like, oh, this game's pretty damn good. So yeah, very exciting stuff. So excited for that sequel. I don't have to say anything about that. I'm sure.
I mean, we'll both be playing it.
Exactly. Do you have I'm sure I've asked you this before, but do you have a preferred class? I know you like heavy weapons. I know you like bonking things.
Yeah, I actually went with Strider the first time I played, which is the worst choice you could make. It is the worst starting class.
Whatever.
It's the worst
metagaming
class to use, period. No, just because I remember thinking, like, why does it take me an hour to kill anything? And I went online, it's like, oh, Strider has the worst damage for no reason. Mm-hmm. And you have to, like, start as a warrior and then, like, fully upgrade. What's the second level of warrior? Like, super warrior, fighter, or something?
You're a fighter and then
you're
warrior.
You're a fighter, then you're a warrior. Right, Final Fantasy style. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you have to, like, fully do that. And then once you have the good skills, then Strider is usable if you go back.
Yeah, because you'll have the base stats. Yes, the esoteric ways of leveling and building a character.
Of making a shitty class.
I love it!
Possible to use.
I fucking love that shit. Okay. Well, yeah, that's about it for me for Final Fantasy VII. What about the games you've been playing lately, Nick? What about...
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about Infinite Wealth nonstop. We literally can't. So I'm just going to talk about the games I'm playing that aren't Infinite Wealth. I've been trying to get through the desktop horror games that have been coming out that I've been getting interested in. They've been pretty big. You've probably seen like 1,000 YouTube essays from random people for like Kinito Pets, where it's
when you
the
say
game
desktop horror, is that
like
because the aesthetic?
It's a fake Windows 98 style desktop.
Okay,
is
like kind of the backdrop,
framing device, and it's like the whole game kind of. Okay, so there's 3 games that like perfectly encapsulate that. It's Desktop Explorer, which is still in a demo. Kinito Pet, which I couldn't actually get to play because it turns out it does not run on Steam Deck. It only runs on Windows machines due to the wild and crazy things it does to make you pee your pants and shits and vomits with fear. And Hypnospace Outlaw, which is very good. Probably going to be the best one out of the 3. Desktop Explorer is just a demo, but you know.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Yeah.
So Desktop Explorer is like a horror puzzle game where you have like your dead uncle's old computer.
Okay.
And I get he like
and this is all like it's all pre like Windows XP. This is all all like
Windows 98, 95, like very blocky 90s computer, like 1998 Windows 98 kind of look.
Okay.
And it's like you can only access his cached internet pages, so all the pages are like that Web 1.0 like graphic. You can read notes in like the notebook editor. There's a storytelling file reader, which is like, with the power of NextOS, we can tell stories with our proprietary file type. And that's how you like do most of the puzzles, like texts. And you solve them by like messing around with the files, like inspect properties, and it's like the passwords inside the source code or something like that. It's cool. It's a cool little idea. It's something I've never seen before. Yeah. Like using computer know-how and knowledge in a new and exciting way to excite any puzzler. There's even some stuff that was like made me feel like I was really stupid, but it's got that kind of nice thing where it's like when you don't get it, you're like, am I the dumbest person to ever live? And then once you get it, you're like, oh, of course. But if you looked up a guide to look it up or to solve it, you'd be like, oh, I'm like an idiot. So it's got that kind of satisfaction I've been missing in puzzle games of actually giving you something that's somewhat difficult that you can solve instead of just being like, well, here's a block and here's a big hole in the floor, right, with a button in it. Yeah. Maybe if you push that over there, the game being like, look at that, protagonist. I wonder, you think that block means something? Yeah. And then like the other character, it's just nice to see something that doesn't just constantly hold your hand and actually lets you solve things.
I don't know if we mentioned last episode or if it was something I was just complaining about to the people close to me, but I was been consuming like older media, and it's like this is the way things were written is so much less condescending.
Yes.
Than anything, not anything, but most mass media appeal like sort of stuff. It's just like nuts to me how that feels. No room to think. Just spat down your throat. Told you right there.
Yeah, it's just nice. It's got a cliffhanger for now. You're
in the demo.
You solve a puzzle and then your desktop gets spammed with horrifying faces and it crashes. And it's a cool thing. Check it out. Definitely check it out if you want a nice little like 30-minute puzzling experience, or if you're really stupid, a nice 3-hour puzzling experience.
There you go. Yeah, it could be like exploring the flash games of old, it seems.
Kind of. It's definitely its own thing. It's not really like anything else I've played before until I played Hypnospace Outlaw, which is still also radically different.
Yeah. I feel like with all of these games, there's just like an added layer of immersion. I know that term is used to death, but when it's something that, really closely replicates something that you've interfaced with in real life, I think it goes like a little further in fooling your brain.
It does a very good job of that, I think, in very different ways.
So that'll be interesting because, like, by the time you and I feel we're using computers and on the internet, we weren't really on computers that use those old OSs. I feel like the most exposure to that we'd get is like at school, right? That's
like Windows 98.
Yeah.
No, I was definitely on a computer at like 5.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
My parents hated it. They said they had to change the password. And you are a little
older than me, so
yeah. Yeah, 1995, I was unquestionably on the PC. I was going onto like CartoonNetwork.com, using AOL for kids.
Hell yeah, dude! We used CompuServe, my family.
I don't even know what that is.
One? Shit. Yeah, I think old dial-up shit.
It turned out you didn't even have to pay for the browser. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
The craziest thing.
Fucking hell. Okay. And then you told me you didn't get a chance to play KinedoPet.
No, so KinedoPet does not work on the Steam Deck. I was looking it up, and the developer said, yeah, this does very specific things that will only ever work on Windows OS. If someone else wants to, like, try, if someone could make that work, I would be shocked.
Is it a Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem type
it's
situation?
It's a horror game where the antagonist is like Microsoft Clippy Bonzi buddy type of thing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's all I know about it. I've seen a billion roughly YouTube videos have been recommended to me that are like this. Yeah, it's like a guy like ripping his face off, and he's like, the scariest game I've ever played, or like. This game doxed me, and it's like he's plunging his thumbs into his eyes with fear, and it's like the little axolotl mascot smugly grinning with evil red eyes and shit, that kind of thing.
I see. Well, is there?
So I'm sure it's very scary. I've seen screenshots. I've seen the store page. So people have been
playing it. It's out right now, or
it's out right now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like $5, and
we love that.
It's just it replicates a desktop. You have a little crazy Microsoft Sam speaking character telling you like, what's your social security number? And people are like, oh my God, I gave it my social security number and then it repeated it back to me. What the fuck? This is fucking horrific. Yeah.
Spooky.
So I can't wait to dox myself live on stream when I get that working. Yeah.
Very nice.
Don't look!
Right.
But Hypnospace Outlaw was actually very fun. It reminded me a lot of like old. You're basically like a internet cop. You're internet judge.
I remember this game coming out a few years ago, or
you're like
a number of years ago at this point. Yeah,
you're a power mod kind of for this proprietary OS / like BBS homepage system called Hypno OS or HypnoS.
Okay.
And you're just like going through people's pages, reporting illegal content. It kind of had like a Papers, Please, but funny feeling to it. Because like your first case is going onto people's pages that have been using a fake detective character from like 1960.
Okay.
And dinging their account. And it's like, you go on the first page and it's like, hi, I'm a first grade teacher at this elementary school. Look at my kid's fan art of Goofy Goober, the lizard detective or whatever. And you have to report it. And it
be a fascist.
Yeah, you have to like be like, they need to get fucking bans.
10 months.
And it pays you
isopod.
too.
Yeah.
It's like, if you get over a certain amount of marks on someone, you can submit them for like investigation. So you only have to get like 3 of the instances of her putting this little character on her page, but you can like go through all 5 or 6 and ruin her life. And it's funny. You can like see their lives, their like status will change. It's like, what's wrong with liking this character? Why you? I don't think I committed a crime.
Yeah, like
but there's like a
feed. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like a teen zone page where it's like all these teenagers talking, and one of them's like Zane's cool page, and you can see that he's harassing one of his classmates, drawing him as like a big fat pimple faced freak in this fake interview. He's like a Limp Bizkit. He's drawing himself with a stupid goatee and like blonde hair. He's like, like, so tell me, why are you so fat and stupid? He's like, oh, I'm not. Stop telling people I am. So it's pretty great.
It's good.
It's pretty great.
It sounds like a fun voice for the humor. And you're playing that on your Steam Deck?
Yeah, that works perfectly on Steam Deck. So Kinito Pet, step it up.
Are you using like touch controls there or
mouse and keyboard
pads? Okay. Oh, right.
It's all mouse and keyboard. Just like a total simulated desktop experience.
Cool.
You can even get like fake viruses that spam you with gore. It's awesome.
That is cool. And yeah, that one I feel like has been out the longest out of all 3 of the things you brought up today.
I think it's a cool idea to go into just like this fake desktop thing, whatever you want to call it, replicating this older computer architecture.
Yeah,
not even necessarily
aesthetic here.
Yeah, because they're all doing it in different ways. You know, Hypnospace is leaning into the internet culture side mostly. Desktop Explorer is like literally playing with the file structure,
like the
and the file explorer software itself. Kinito Pet, I assume, is what if Bonzi Buddy had hyper-realistic blood and red eyes and scared you? What if Bonzi Buddy was hiding under your bed and came out and made you piss yourself? So,
very cool.
Could be fun. Could be cool.
That is cool. That's some kind of long format video or content waiting to happen, where you talk about the pros and cons of this.
The horrors of Web 1.0.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Why are we afraid of the past?
Yeah, right.
Kinito Pet and the new horror found in the near past. That kind of stupid pseudo-intellectual bullshit.
Making a kissy face.
The scariest game I've ever played was Hypnospace Outlaw. I know what you're thinking. Are you stupid? That game is freaking hilarious.
What is it about?
Well, maybe if you're dumb. Maybe if you don't think critically like me.
Exactly.
Well, I've also been playing Y2K, of course, but...
No, good to know. Good to keep updating on that. Very good. Well, do you want to move on? Was there anything else?
Let's move on.
Yeah, I mean...
Y2K... Oh, wait. They do technically also have a fake desktop. You can go to the... You can go to a forum and read posts, which did pretty accurately imitate a forum of that era with the posts on there, and you can read emails. So
there you go.
Y2K is another contender for the desktop horror genre.
Somewhat, no, pretty unrelated, but the idea of a game using kind of real world, not necessarily know-how, but just immersing you in the process of like what you'd be doing in real life. Is you ever heard of a game called Quadrilateral Cowboy? Quadrilateral Cowboy.
Is that the game where everyone's like a rectangle or whatever?
Yeah, it's an odd look, but the gameplay hook of like having to write scripts, kind of like hacking, kind of.
You have to like actually type it out.
Yeah, it's a puzzle game in that regard, and you're actually like doing everything there. I could never get past the first couple levels because I was like, oh, this is very intriguing as a concept, but I don't think it's the kind of thing where I'm like, I bet
you don't want to learn C++ or whatever.
Yeah, but it was very cool. And the way you're talking about these games kind of just reminded me of that. It's like, oh, I like that. I like when games put you into an act like that.
Yeah,
instead of just clicking and something happening.
It's very, very cool. I like it a lot.
Very nice. Before we began today, I was going through the horror game showcase for February. I don't know if there was anything in there that really stood out for you.
I'd say just the game Elisa that like I think they really nailed the PlayStation X kind of look, the like Silent Hill Resident Evil look.
Okay, I think I know.
It had like I don't know if you remember, it had
bad
the, like,
voice
French,
acting.
The classic Resident Evil style bad French voice acting.
As I was scrolling through everything, that one did stick out to me.
I think for that kind of thing, it helps more than hurts to have like awkward, what are they even saying kind of voice acting and line delivery. To really, replicate that feeling. I don't want to hear professional...
I don't need to hear Troy Baker delivering it with so much emotion, yeah. No,
I want to hear some guy who's never been in front of a microphone before being like, what? Huh? What do you mean? That kind of thing.
It certainly... it adds to the atmosphere of it. Just the uncomfortable, like, uncanny... Your sort of Lynchian tendencies are very tickled in that regard.
For those who don't know, the Horror Game Showcase is a showcase by the Horror Games Award every month, showing trailers from new, upcoming, mostly independent horror game developers. And they usually have at least one or two cool things that you'll really like. So check them out. And Elisa was a game that's in the style of like the old Resident Evil 1 and 2, Silent Hill 1, PSX, nasty, evil, polygonal horror. Kind of like it has like an Alice in Wonderland / Pan's Labyrinth slant. It looks like the real world. You're from some like fascist Spain / France nation or something. Some generic European fascist nation. It looks like, and in the fantasy world, it's like a kind of Alice in Wonderland, bizarro hellscape.
Yeah. Very magical and surreal kind of vibes. If you follow the Horror Game Awards or their page or watch their showcases, you'll definitely get a feel for what aesthetics are popular in the indie horror gaming scene.
PlayStation is on top right now.
But it's always a delight when you see a developer actually doing those visuals or that style, I think, more justice than when more so than the pale imitations that so often play.
It's true. They're wrong.
Right.
They're sick.
Because as much as we love indie game development, there's plenty of like stuff that makes
frauds
frown. Yeah.
People who just make games I don't like in general. They're all frauds.
Okay, yeah, very cool. There wasn't much I wanted to cover from the HGA showcase. I did catch the Silent Hill 2 remake trailers that they kind of recycled again. I was like, it is very action oriented, that trailer, for some reason.
Even the music was very like, get ready to kill.
Yeah.
Get ready to bash him up with Action James.
Weird stuff. Weird.
I remember the Bloober team, I think, head or whatever, the CEO or something, put out a tweet saying, wow, Konami really fucked up the editing on that trailer. It's all their fault if you didn't like the game. Yes, they misrepresented the game. If you were thinking this isn't something you want to play, blame them, which is always a good sign when the developer is openly at odds with the publishing company.
Oh, yeah. Well, they won't be at the Game Awards collecting the Horror Game of the Year award.
No, that's going to go straight to Death Stranding Remastered.
Right on. Okay. Any other headlines that were floating around the stratosphere that stuck out to you, or anything worth mentioning? We kind of touched on it. I think we're good.
Not really.
Oh, excuse me. All right.
Microsoft and Sony are still, believe it or not, quite evil and wicked. They do not care about you, the consumer. They do not care about
you, the
their
creator.
own employees.
Yeah, exactly. It is, a bummer and strange and crazy times to be living through.
Same as it ever was.
Yeah. All right. Anything smaller? Anything other media you've been consuming?
Saw like the first 15 minutes of live action Avatar because Joanna wanted to watch it. Boring as fuck. Fell asleep. Zuko looks weird.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's a kind of hard.
Iroh sounds weird. I don't think it should have been made. I don't care about it.
Yeah,
it's not doing anything new to justify its existence.
Yeah, in fact, it might be doing the same things worse.
Yes, it's actively taking things away, I would say. Sokka is less interesting as a character.
Yeah, what they should have done
is less interesting.
Make this a sequel, a semi-sequel, like the Final Fantasy VII remake was,
What they should have done was
actually another timeline.
Sure, but maybe save on the whole 3D budget. Try animating it. That might be good.
Yeah, just a Netflix-funded series in the universe actually could have been quite good.
Get the Castlevania team to work on it.
Ooh, that would have been kind of cool.
Yeah, they got some ideas.
I actually was watching a movie today that you had spoken about before. I finally got around to watching Bottoms.
Pretty funny.
That is I laughed a good amount of times throughout that movie. I appreciated it.
Yeah, bunch of vulgar little lesbians in high school beating the fuck out of each other.
Fuck. And Marshawn Lynch is in it.
Yeah, he is, and he's
he does a fine job. Yeah.
He does exactly what he needs to do. He does it well.
Yeah, that was a fun, unexpected. Because sometimes comedy just does not land these days.
I would say like 99% of comedies.
But I enjoyed that one. Yeah. Hilariously, so when I'm working, I have a lot of time to just kind of put on something, and I'll be able to devote maybe 60% of attention to it while I'm doing another task.
Yeah, so like something kind of mindless.
I recently watched both The Fugitive and the sequel. I guess it's a sequel, I guess.
That's the Harrison Ford movie?
And U.S. Marshals is the sequel. But Harrison Ford's not in the sequel. U.S. Marshals focuses on Tommy Lee Jones and his squad of U.S. Marshals that are introduced.
Is he in the first one?
Yeah, he's the direct opposition to Harrison Ford's Richard Kimball. And I had never seen those movies before. Kind of classically like mid '90s cinema after watching them now, but shit's funny. They don't make them like they used to, frankly.
It is crazy.
Which is like such a boomer thing to say, but
well, I don't know, because when I was at your house, I remember we were actually watching real DVDs, and they had like trailers and shit on them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy to think like how many movies, or I guess I should say how long movies have just come out with zero fanfare and faded into nothingness. Like, it's always been a thing. It's not a modern thing that there's constant releases of shit. It's like, oh yeah, I guess for every year we remember maybe 2 or 3 good movies, and everything else disappears forever, and no one gives a fuck about them.
It's crazy.
And yeah, you'll find no better source of just complete generic garbage than on the trailers for any VHS tape or any DVD. Just movies that you're like, yeah, I guess that did come out. I totally forgot. I never saw it. It exited my mind. Weird that this even got made. Like, that kind of reaction.
I will say, The Fugitive and U.S. Marshals, I think they deserve to be in the canon of 90s cinema.
Oh, do you think they're a step above?
Mm-hmm. The drivel. Totally. I think every time I watch more Harrison Ford movies, I question, like, his appeal. That's
like as a leading man?
Yeah, a little bit. He definitely has charisma. And it's certainly, like, a charisma that was valued in leading men back then that is not present in
well, like hyper-masculinity?
Maybe, but well,
he's not really. He's not like an Arnold. Like
his everyday kind of like everyman qualities. Like, I get it. Watching stuff that he's, aside from Star Wars and Indiana Jones, when you watch other Harrison Ford things, you're like, oh yeah, he's a super normal ass guy.
He's just a guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting. And I guess I do appreciate that, because, yeah, every fucking protagonist in movies these days is like
a waif.
I was gonna say, like, not like the Timothy
waif-ish,
Chalamet kind of problem.
Fragile glass.
I think kind of the flip side of that, where it's just like, it's just generically handsome. It's like someone put all the attractive sliders on a character creator.
Yes, almost to the point of grotesquerie.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, super sharp head, gigantic sharp features.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I enjoyed both of those. I don't really know what I wanted to bring to the table by bringing them up, other than like, oh, I watched them. They were funny.
Yeah.
They don't make them like they used to. There's montage storytelling in The Fugitive, and I'm like, oh, this is not really present today. Probably for good reason. I think
training montage
techniques used. Yeah, it's not a training montage. It's like him rebuilding his identity on the run. But the way that the characters in the movie mythologize his character, it's just super funny. Like, oh, Richard Kimball, like, he's super smart. He's like smarter than you U.S. Marshals kind of thing, and like well, would he come to you for help? At the
passport store or something?
And one was like, it's not his style to ask for help. And yeah, it's just fucking Harrison Ford just like shaving his beard, dyeing his hair, making a fake passport. Strange stuff. If anything, both of those movies, to wrap it up, they made me like Tommy Lee Jones more. I was like, oh, this is really the first time I've seen you act in like, I wouldn't say his prime, because he's already an elderly guy in these movies.
Yeah, he's been old since the day he was born.
He's the least presenting as an elderly guy in these movies, but it's the most lively I've ever seen him in. Aside from,
he's
like,
getting
Batman.
pissed off and banging his fists.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he brings a strange humanity and personality and personability to this like lawman character.
Yeah, he's got a very realistic, stern disposition. You wouldn't expect from his name. You expect him to be a little more whimsical. The Tommy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it was fun to watch those movies, mostly for his performances. And I just I eat those kinds of characters up. And then Bottoms, super funny. And then aside from that, I've been experimenting more with streaming on the PS5. You know, I pay for the fucking premium tier of PS Plus. So, you know, and I remember when that first started, I tried streaming some games. Very unimpressed with the results.
Just did not work.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't really want to revisit that. But lately, you know, and maybe it's because some of my housemates are gone, and I'm like, oh, so much bandwidth is available to be.
Wow. Direct connection, Ethernet.
So I've been streaming stuff because I never owned a PS3. I'm just playing some games there, and it's been
really missed out.
It's been fun. I mean, I don't think they have the like really. What's the word? The premier titles from the PS3 on streaming.
Right. Well, I assume they don't have Demon Souls because they want you to buy the single PS5 exclusive.
The remake is available to stream, but
no, I'm saying the original.
They don't have the original yet. No.
Right.
I have that on disc though. Yeah.
So do I. Just saying.
I
also own
it. Yeah. No, but aside from being tickled at connectivity not being a piece of shit, I was able to play like Ninja Gaiden. I'm like, oh, this is a reflex kind of based game, and there's not like horrible input lag or latency, so that's cool. It makes me wonder. Yeah, Sigma. It makes me wonder if this is just like the future,
I hope not.
Of game distribution.
I really hope not, because sizes for the games are getting bigger and bigger. I think honestly, we should probably go back to physical media. I think that if we could get a disc that could hold 200 gigabytes or whatever, that would probably be ideal, because the cost of getting storage, I think, is getting kind of out of hand.
Yeah.
I don't think it should be like a standard to have.
If things are just streaming, if you're just constantly streaming from the cloud.
But if you stream it, then it's ugly and it looks weird. And
but that's what I'm saying. Like right now, it's not. But maybe that's just because my internet is.
No, they're tricking you.
Yeah.
They heard you talking. They were spying on your PlayStation Eye.
My PlayStation
like, ramp up the quality for this guy.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I do not want that to be the future, but I also agree that game install sizes are way too large. That's definitely something that the Final Fantasy VII remake made me like, ugh, gotta fucking delete other shit off this console.
Yeah, it's crazy too, because the PS5 comes with it doesn't have like a 2 terabyte hard drive to start. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like it's something that if you heard that, in 2012, you'd be like, oh, so you'll
have like 100 games on there. Yeah,
you have infinite power. But for this, it's like, oh, you can have 3 games now.
Three AAA games.
Not the way things should be. This seems off to me.
I am with you there 100%. And with that, unless there are any other smaller games that you want to bring up, any fun stories from your gaming career these past few weeks?
Oh, a friend of mine got engaged, and I immediately took them aside and just played them in Tekken for 3 hours, beating their ass with King.
There you go. No better way to.
They'll remember that instead of the engagement. I think. Yeah. I think that'll be the stronger memory.
Yeah. I just remembered last bit of streaming games. Did you ever play The Darkness? On the PS3?
But it looked cool.
We were talking about like Starbreeze last episode briefly.
Yeah.
Because Machine Games or whatever the DNA there, but yeah, The Darkness. The first one was developed by Starbreeze, and it kind of has that same character weightiness that like the Chronicles of Riddick game had.
So it's good.
It's interesting. Yeah, it's got that hybrid first and third person kind of shift in perspective when you're interacting with elements in the environment, sort of thing. And the gunplay is nothing fantastic, right? And the
main appeal is the tentacle.
And the tentacle thing is kind of it's okay. I think playing it now, not really having to invest like money or serious time into it, it's an interesting novelty. It certainly reminds me of like The Crow or other other gothic
dark
revenge tales,
gothic heroes, long black hair, trench coat. Yeah, Jackie and the Postal Guy walking hand in hand.
Jackie Estacado. It's It's funny. His character model, he's supposed to be 21 years old. He looks 50.
He looks like a caveman.
Yeah.
He looks horrible. Even on the cover of the game, he looks middle-aged.
Yeah, it's
For those who don't know, The Darkness was a first-person shooter released in 2008, I want to say, where you play as a recently deceased mobster brought back to life by a force known as The Darkness.
Based on a comic series.
Yeah. It's like a Spawn adjacent kind of thing, kind of look. It's that Todd McFarlane feel.
It's dark, you know. I like the attention to detail in The Darkness. It's the kind of game that I feel like they would never. There's never going to be a game like this made today, just like in the sense that no studio is willing to like give money to this sort of thing. It's not a safe enough bet. Or like they're gonna get this amount
random
of money.
comic book.
Yeah, exactly.
You can license
IP,
out.
Yeah. I mean, it's not never gonna get made, but they're not as common. I think.
Right. I mean, what the most recent licensed games? The Gollum game.
Yeah, right? I mean that's
that the
publisher
shiny example right now.
That publisher is super horrible. Yeah, they did that one and King Kong. I mean, apparently, what
the RoboCop games?
Terminator and RoboCop games aren't horrible, but yeah. Regardless, those are much more established than like, you know, The Darkness, some weird indie comic. But yeah, interesting. I do enjoy it. It's a fun novelty. Would recommend. I don't think it's super accessible on PCs or other hardware. So if you got the chance, it's not a complete waste of time. I played the first one over the sequel. If you have
literally nothing else to do.
Yeah, I certainly prefer the first one over the sequel's aesthetics. But yeah, we can move on from this. Close out with our singular question for our community. Yeah.
Great.
Well, I guess two, if you want to count our pal Goon asking us if you got any.
If you want.
I mean, do you have any? We asked for a prompt, and Goon asked us. In turn, if we had any stories about midnight launches, midnight releases.
Yeah, that was the first time I got pulled over by the police. Was because I was driving to the Halo 3 midnight release.
And the GameStop back in our hometown?
Yeah.
Was it the one by like the Best Buy in the Taqueria?
Yes, exactly. Okay. Exactly. I was driving on the side road to get there, and I got pulled over. I was going the speed limit too, and I genuinely did not understand why I was pulled over. And the cop was
cops, man, are so fucking annoying as fuck.
They were like, "Did you know that this road is like it recently rained? You were going so fast, you could have hydroplaned." Like, what the? You pulled me over to warn me? What?
Yeah. All right. Go.
I really, else. I don't know. It's just like randomly harassing me for no reason, essentially. I didn't like it. It's given me a negative feeling towards random police cars sitting there. Like, oh, I bet this kid's going to get fucking bullied too.
I wish.
We should mildly inconvenience him. We should change his perception of cops forever.
Yeah. Wow. Any good memories from midnight launch? Or
no.
Yeah, right. I don't really go out to them.
I used to when I like desperately needed that game, but no, I don't remember like any of the people. I don't remember anything outside of getting the game. I remember going home and playing it and enjoying the game, but I was never like, wow, the best part about this has got to be waiting in line with a bunch of other people with some similar interests and none of us speaking to each other for about an hour.
I think because of where we grew up, a relatively small town, I do have kind of fond, I wouldn't even call them particularly fond, but I do remember going to midnight releases for like the Call of Duty Modern Warfares with my dad. Randomly, right? He would not bring it up in the weeks coming, but then like the day I'd be like, hey son, like let's go to GameStop. Because we can go pick this up right now. Like, oh, I guess. I feel like those nights when like we'd get a game, especially later on in that franchise's history, where it's like, oh, there's like an install disc for this shit before you can like actually play the game. Like it was entering that era of gaming. Where it's like, what the fuck is this? But I do remember. I think we went to the Fallout New Vegas one. There was like no crowd. Just walk in, you get it.
Sickening.
Right? Grand Theft Auto 5, I think I went for the midnight launch, but I was either early or late enough where, like, no crowd.
They just hand it
then.
over.
Yeah. And then when I moved to San Diego, I think the only midnight launch I've been to here was years ago at this point for fucking Fallout 4.
Wow, what a way to end it off.
Yeah, right? The era ended. After that, I was just like, yeah, you know, if I pre-order something, I'm not going to come out here.
Yeah.
And get
well, I mean, I could pick it up, or I could get it digitally 3 hours ahead of time, so I could actually play it instead of passing out instantly.
Yeah, exactly. So those are our scintillating tales of midnight releases.
Mm-hmm.
No one threatened us, you know. No one held us at gunpoint. No exciting stories of breakdowns.
No one said the PS5 of your life.
Yeah. No, thank God. And with that, we got our next question from viewer / listener Cold Steak / developer Cold Steak.
As we've said over and over, indie developers on the food chain, the hierarchy, they're the highest.
We love them.
Of all life forms.
They
could slay a lower tier life form
without consequence.
There would be no ramifications.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the caste system.
Mm-hmm. And it's rigidly enforced here at Video Ditch.
It's true. We are the enforcers. We will kill you.
Exactly.
Personally.
We'll let it happen, yeah. They ask, would anyone ever consider buying an entire video game console for one game?
Yes, and I did. I
Really?
got a PlayStation 3 for Metal Gear Solid 4.
That's epic.
That was the whole reason I got a PS3. And if I had done that, I would have never gotten Demon Souls. I would have never gotten the whole Dark Souls series. So,
I feel like the PS3 was the last generation where like it set a trajectory for what you'd be playing, you know, choosing a console. I feel like the libraries of third parties are so shared these days.
It's all the same, unless it's Nintendo. Nintendo is the only company that has exclusives at this point. I mean, we already had a 360 previously, and we had a Wii, but the PS3 I think was also the first console I bought with my own money.
There you go, yeah.
Like I got
Big
for
boy,
myself.
yeah, nice.
Yeah, so there's that. I got a PSP also, but there was quite a few games I wanted. The PSP is very slept on, very underappreciated console.
Great little handheld. Yeah. Would still happily play PSP. If,
oh yeah, I was the other day. I was playing a fucking something. Persona 3 Portable.
Yeah, fuck Reloaded. I got Portable right here.
Yeah, they didn't change it up. I haven't played it. I'm probably right.
I want to. The crazy thing about playing through 7 right now is like I kind of want to be playing Persona, which is nuts because I also want to be playing Infinite Wealth.
Yeah, I'm not gonna pick up a single JRPG until I'm done with Infinite Wealth. It's just not smart, I think, for me. Not a good idea.
I'm like Bilbo Baggins. My brain is like butter spread on too much toast.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
You see the ring, you start spitting out venom and poison, saying random crazy shit.
Exactly. Is that Final Fantasy VII? If I could just hold it in my hands one last time, yeah.
Would that be so wrong?
Yeah, I don't think a single exclusive has ever compelled me to buy a console. You know, certainly back in the day, I don't know. No, it was never singular. There were always enough consoles to justify buying a game. And then even with the PlayStation 4 and 5, like I knew that the lineup of exclusives, few as they are, like from this last generation, the stuff on PlayStation did appeal to me more, but it was never like
I did not give a fuck. I did
like,
not
I
care
need
at all.
God of War, so I'm getting a PS4. Like, yeah, it was never like
the
that.
Xbox One. I don't know. Who cares?
Right? Would you buy a fucking Xbox One for Starfield?
No. Who would?
No. I mean,
would you buy a PS4 for Bloodborne? Of course, everyone would. Easiest question in the world. But there's also so many other games. Like,
I mean, From Software's other games, like other stuff from their catalog, could scratch that itch. It could scratch.
It's not exclusive, but yeah, they're there.
Yeah. With Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, you know, this question got me thinking of that because presently, PS5 exclusive.
Yeah, but
Is it the kind of game that justifies buying a console? I don't think so. Right?
Yeah, unless you're like a Fujoshi.
Yeah, it's a cool game. I love Final Fantasy VII. Like, I love that shit. But man, do I feel like this game is gonna get lost in its own sauce. And yeah, not. It's good. Not a kind of quality where I'm like, this is a system seller. I think the next game that'll be a system seller will be Grand Theft Auto 6.
I think it's going to be Yakuza Gaiden Akiyama Hen.
Well, one could hope.
I pray every day.
And I
pray 3 times facing towards Kamurocho.
Yeah, exactly. I get down on my goddamn knees, head to the floor. Yeah. And with that, I think that'll close out today's episode. Unless you have any closing thoughts you want to share.
Not this time. I mean, we covered everything at the start. You know, use the coupon code.
Use the coupon code.
Check out Palette Swap. Give them at least
Swap,
$5 to read their funny articles and, more importantly, see their funny videos. Tell them Nick and Sam sent you.
There you go.
And they'll say, "Who are they?"
Okay.
They'll say, "Who is that?"
Thanks. Yeah. And as always, I have been Sam, the Super Sammycom. You can find me on Twitter at the Super Sammycom. You can find Video Ditch Pod on Twitter as well, on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
It's all there.
It's all there. And jump in the Discord so you could shoot a question at us.
Yeah, say some stuff. We have contests and things. There's going to be one judge next Saturday.
That's right.
Prize to be determined. I don't even actually know who's entered and who's just sending me random grotesque imagery, but I assume that it's all for the contest. I believe the winner of this one gets a beautiful Valentine from yours truly, and maybe I'll throw a little Steam key in there because I'm so nice.
Yeah, we love gaming out here. You can find Nick at Somebody Stop Me, Nintendo style with 2 eyes. If you're just tuning in for the first time, like the video, subscribe on the platforms, and perhaps leave a comment or a rating.
Yeah.
If you really want to make my day.
Really make your thoughts known, positive or negative. Although if they are negative, just comment, don't rate. Don't bother.
Yeah. And until next time, thank you for listening. We have been Video Ditch. Game on, motherfucker.
Yes, keep gaming in the free world.
Exactly.